Panney is an award-winning motivational speaker, certified hypnotherapist, author, specializing in the power of the mind to reach your potential and empowering people to achieve their personal and professional dreams. She is the CEO of See the Way Consulting, has her own podcast called See the Way with Panney Way, and also a local business partner of a restaurant group here in Los Angeles. I've had the great honor of meeting her by chance a few weekends ago, and I'm so lucky to have her here with us today. So thank you, Panney, for coming on.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I am so honored to be here with all of you at ARIA. This is an amazing and incredible organization. Everyone I've met here, from the founder to all the national leadership to our local chapters and amazing presidents like you, this is an incredible organization. And I've been so impressed with how people are staying connected, how you elevate your community, the policy work that you do, how you support everyone that's in your business, but also in other areas, and the leadership qualities and character that of all the characters and all the leaders that I've met, I've been very impressed with Ari, and thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here with you today for this Taste of Asia annual event. I think it's an amazing thing that you're doing this, especially during the pandemic, to provide this unique opportunity for us to connect together over the universal language of food. It's part of the reason why I'm such a foodie, and I love anything that has to do with food, because I feel like, just like music, food is a way to universally connect with other people, for other people and other cultures that are not like us to learn about us, to know about us, to experience who we are, but also to build bridges and break down some of those gaps that happen between cultures. And I think now at this time, it's such a crucial moment for all of us to stay strong together, to work together, and to celebrate our unique cultures and use things like food to create those connections. It is, it's definitely, there's nothing you can say political about food. It's just a way for everyone to break bread and have those, wonderful, deep, meaningful conversations. And I think an event like this is great. You have this format where everyone's together in a Zoom, and it's a little wonderful positive distraction from the usual days of of our lives right now, everything that we're doing, but you're using this sort of platform to be able to create connection. Right now, obviously there are some deep wounds in our community that we need to heal. All the systemic racism that we've been experiencing from the past have always been there, but now it has come to the surface, and it's giving us all a unique opportunity to finally heal those wounds and have these deep, meaningful connections and conversations with each other, and really literally to break bread with each other. So I'm very honored to be here. I think that part of the reason why I feel like my involvement with anything that has to do with food, whether it's from shows being on television or on Netflix. We have some shows that are on Netflix right now called Ugly Delicious and Breakfast, Lunch, Dinner. Those shows and everything that I've been a part of is always about creating connection with people, to focus on peace and unity, but also to show that we're all part of the human race, that we're all part of this whole collective, and we're not we're not Black versus white or Asian versus Latino or any of those things. We are all together, and we're all supposed to work together. So part of my mission right now is to continue to do that sort of work. And I was asked by wonderful Tiffany here to share some of the tips, some very basic tips on being able to stay grounded and calm during this time, how we can stay excited and positive about our lives, how we can also stay connected to our community, and how we can support them. And so I'm going to just share a couple tips. And as you're enjoying your food and you're eating, let it just sink in and relax, because part of being a hypnotherapist is I help people relax and entertain them a little bit. But as you're eating your food, just take a moment to chill and just take in whatever you want to take in from some of the things I'm going to share with you. So right now there's so much noise out there, and whether it's just the filter from the news that we're seeing, from social media. And part of the ways that you can actually stay grounded and calm during this time is to not get yourself overloaded. You don't want to get yourself overloaded so that you're hyper suggestible to a 24-hour news cycle where you're just listening to the news, like, and forget to turn it off. What happens when that happens is that your brain takes in, your subconscious mind takes in unintentional information, and it doesn't shut off. So you have to take control of the content that you ingest. So shows like this, or events like this, Taste of Asia, or any of the ARIA events, are ways to be able to sort of keep yourself elevated in a positive way, but control what you intake, because it's very important. You only have control over your sphere, your environment, what you can do, what you take in, what you listen to, what you say. And so if you can learn to control that, which means for me, I can only speak for myself, and this is what I also suggest to others, is I only watch the news like maybe once or twice a day. And it is a concentrated amount of time. It is not like I'm watching it for 3 hours or something. No, it's still like, I just get the news, the basic facts. I'm very careful about what news outlets I also intake as well. And that's it, because the facts in the news like doesn't change too much in a 24-hour cycle, not too much, especially with regards to the pandemic in terms of COVID facts and stuff like that. So we know that's all happening, and that's going to continue to happen. But my goal is to help encourage you to stay forward moving in your life, because you can't control the outside environment, but you can control yourself. So, and what you do. So that's number one. Two, take mental breaks for yourself, just like this, what we're doing right now. We're sitting here having dinner together, breaking bread, connecting with each other, chatting in the chat room. Take these wonderful mental breaks to recharge and re-energize yourself and connect with your fellow members in this space or in your community. Another great thing you can do also is to meditate. I really am a big believer in meditation, in any form of practice that helps to calm the mind and your spirit, stay really grounded, and to focus on the connection between the breath and the body and the mind. When you get that in sync, your blood pressure drops, you're able to feel a lot more connected to yourself and others. Your intuition heightens as well. Your instincts become more spot on. It's great for all of you working in your field at ARIA. You want to trust your instincts, get your intuition heightened. And it also helps because as you learn to trust yourself, you are able to have better rapport with others. And so as it relates to all of you in ARIA, you are in this sort of also a world where relationships are very, very important. And also learning basics about sales and everything. That's about building rapport with people. When you can get connected with yourself, people feel your energy and they'll want to work more with you. So that's just a little small tidbit, but I'm sure you pros already know that. The other thing is when you're out there, and of course, you know, we're experiencing a lot of information, a lot of dissension right now. We're leading up to the election, and there are two parties going at it. And there's also our community, you know, there are still protests happening. And what you want to do is not to take in all the stress of your outside environment, internalize it, but to stay grounded in who you are and observe it. And it's very much a part of like Asian culture to have a maybe Zen way of life, or a philosophy of looking at things, or a Confucianist way. I very much prescribe to a combination of all of that. And the reason why I'm mentioning that, as it pertains to what I do as a hypnotherapist, is when people are overloaded and stressed, they start living from a place of fear or panic or anxiety. That's the amygdala part of your brain, which is like the back part of your brain. And it's kind of like when you watch that Bugs Bunny cartoon when we were kids, and the Tasmanian devil is like running around like a crazy person, like running around all the time. He is living from the amygdala part of the brain, because all he does is just running around, and how can I get Bugs Bunny, and how can I blah, 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 blah. So you don't want to do that. You want to live from the front part, prefrontal cortex part of your brain, which is the place of positivity, of forward thinking, of action, of optimism, of hope. That's what we need right now as a community, to live from this place of hope and live from this place of connection, and where you're not in fear, and you know that there's an end point to all of this chaos. You know that there's going to be a solution to this pandemic somehow. But we must be hopeful at this time, and we must be able to support each other at this time. So how can we all do that? It's by playing our own part in all this mess. Basically it's believing in that you can change the world by changing yourself. So just really living from that space of like optimism, and where you're I don't know why I'm using this cartoon analogy, but like you're more like Bugs Bunny, who is always like, yeah, I know, he's always just easygoing, and he goes with the flow, and he knows what's up, and there you go with the Tasmanian devil just trying to like run after him all the time. That's the reason why these cartoons exist in our pop culture, is because actually the writers are amazing creative minds that actually use symbolism in psychology, in collective unconscious, in human behavior, to visually explain it to you. And like Star Wars is another great movie that does that. So I'm bringing it up so you can visually see it, but I'm showing you what happens in the brain. The other thing you can do is really do the work to separate fact from fiction. All the things and the information that's coming to you, do your best to use your critical mind to filter through everything and focus on the facts and focus on the truth. Like always be a truth seeker. And that means like if you are hearing something that sounds like hearsay and another thing from another side, just make sure that you do your own personal research so that you can seek the truth and find the truth. And that will help you sort of lessen any stress and chaos in terms of especially news information, because now we're in this election cycle and you're going to see things that people are going to say about Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or Trump or whatever. Make your work part of your internal work as a human being, to be able to try to practice using your critical mind, so you separate fact from fiction, and you can actually also be a light of hope and be that I guess you could say vocal megaphone for the truth, so that unnecessary prejudice doesn't get spread. And I'm saying this also because I'm so protective of our community. Right now it's, you do see some news where older people in our older generation people are being harassed, or there is unnecessary prejudice that's being spouted towards each other. And sadly, that's sort of what happens now, like what's happening now. People that are feeling whatever it is, whatever prejudices they had in their heart, they now feel like they have been given the permission to be able to spew it out. And I say to our community, do not listen to it. Do not internalize any racism that comes towards your way. Stand up for yourself. Use your voice. Do not let anyone put you down. And stand up for your fellow brothers and sisters. We as Asian Americans have gone through so much in our long history of being here in America, from our ancestors that crossed seas towards freedom. For those of you who have ancestors in China that escaped communism to Taiwan, like my parents did, and I was born in Taiwan, and then we crossed those seas to come to America. Just remember the stories of your ancestors, where they came from, who they were and are, to give you strength. For those of you who had ancestors who survived the Japanese internment camps, just know and remember how resilient your ancestors are, your family is, so that especially during this time, it's almost as if like, been there, done that, we can get through this together. We've been through much worse. Even the Chinese, with the Chinese Exclusion Act, they were the first race and of any ethnic origin to be completely, denigrated and become outcasts in this country. But still, we rose up from that. So remember those remember those stories. And also we have to support our fellow brothers and sisters of color. We benefit from the civil rights movement. We all are here in this together. So we really need to work together and not let this opportunity go by to really heal the wounds of the past, but actually move forward so that this never happens again, that we completely, fully heal it, so that racism seriously is not a good thing. And I don't even understand why it's even being argued or politicized. It's just never right to treat someone less equal than you. You're not above them, and nor are you below them. You are with everyone. You are the same as everyone. And for all of us who have children like myself, I have a 10-year-old daughter. It's very important to teach her these very, very basic values of being able to stand up for each other and to know the difference between right and wrong. So I love ARIA, because ARIA, I feel whenever I'm at an event or meeting the people who are members, have this wonderful spirit of just optimism and energy. Everyone I've met is just incredible. And I think that you can leverage that this time within ARIA, and also for all of us to connect with other Asian Pacific leaders to strengthen each other and to really, really take pride in our culture, take pride in what we do and who we are, and to not let anyone bring us down. And I think, as Tiffany was saying, one of your missions through this wonderful event, Taste of Asia, is to encourage people to support your local businesses. I think that's tremendous, especially during this time, during the pandemic, where you're starting to see some of these businesses fall apart, especially those in the restaurant business. And it's because so many of these businesses thrived from us going to visit them in person, and part of that normalcy has been sort of dissipated at this time. And if we want to be able to stay stronger together, we know eventually some of these restaurants and businesses will reopen and we will have normalcy again. And that's what I mean about being forward thinking and not forgetting that there is an endpoint to all this. But we kind of have to be like water. I'm going to use that Bruce Lee adage. I love Bruce Lee, but it's or just the metaphor of water that we have in Asian culture, where water is fluid, but it's also strong. It's flexible, but it also can destroy. It also can uplift. It can wash away all the negativity. That's how we have to be as a collective community right now. And we all have to look at this adversity that we're all facing. And in Chinese culture, there's a word for adversity. The character for adversity also lies the word opportunity. And so that's what I'm looking at, this opportunity right now at this time in our lives, that we are all going through something really difficult together, but there's an opportunity still for hope, for enlightenment, for us to be stronger together. And we will gain wisdom and resilience from this moment in our lives. And part of the way we can do it is to band together to support our local businesses. If there's a restaurant, a favorite restaurant that you love, go and grab takeout from them. Go sit in their patio and support them if you feel like you feel safe enough and comfortable enough to enjoy eating outdoors, so you have a little bit more normalcy in your life. One of the restaurants that I'm a part of that I love to go to is Major Domo. We were takeout, and the first weekend Major Domo was open. We donated all those proceeds to Black Lives Matter. So what I'm sharing is a way for us to stay connected as a community. To support our fellow brothers and sisters, our African American brothers and sisters, our Latino, Brown, Asian, all of us together. And if you can do this, we can ride through this pandemic together. We will get through it together. We can keep some of these favorite places that we love to eat at afloat, and support the small mom and pop shops that need us the most. And so I really want to thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me and to all the things that I'm sharing. And I do hope that each and every one of you feels that you have the ability to be able to change anything in your life at this very moment by just changing your attitude, changing your mind, changing how you see things. And rather than go into a place of despair, but to really flip it, because there's always a balance for everything. It's just how we see things that makes the difference. So if we see this moment as like, oh my God, it sucks. Yeah, it sucks. Let's accept the reality that it really sucks. But at the same time, we can look at it as an opportunity for us to rise up together and to elevate each other, and to also show people what it means to be Asian American. Like it's really for me. I celebrate our humanity and I celebrate our culture, and there's nothing better than doing that, than showing our grace as a community, showing our strength, and showing our voice. So I want to end with a quote from Lao Tzu, and he says, "A man with outward courage dares to die. A man with inner courage dares to live." So I hope we can continue to live and to strive and thrive together during this time. And let us not feel burdened by this moment in our lives, but to be strengthened like it, just like a phoenix rising out of the ashes. We will all rise up from this collective challenge that we're all facing. And we can do it all together within ARIA, outside of ARIA, and beyond. Thank you.
I love it. It was such a beautiful message. And thank you so much for, your words about community and coming together. I think that that's so important. So thank you so
Yeah.
much, Panney. We really
Thank
enjoyed having you on.
Thank you. Thank you guys. And if you have any questions about like anything that I've shared, especially if any of the tips that you have, if you have questions about how the brain works and how you can live with a lot more hope, you can email me at panny@pannyway.com or message me on my social media handle, which is also Pannyway. But my website is PANNEYWEI.com. Thank you.
Thank
You guys.
you.
Bye.